Second.
Motion by Aaron, second by Landine.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Yes, we are now out of the recess. We're now back to being a Board of Equalization. It's 6 o'clock. Item number 1 on our agenda is American Living Trust.
Jim, can you use your microphone?
On the phone?
No,
Use your microphone.
Oh. Sorry. Okay, Carla. Rock and roll.
It's trying to load. I can continue on. So our first appeal is parcel number 099.50.06.A04A. It's located at 47018 Terry Lane. It's under the name of Haber Living Trust. It is a single-family home built in 1979. It has approximately 1,334 square feet, 2 bedrooms, a full basement, no finish, 2 bathrooms. It does have an attached garage of 528 square feet. It also has an accessory building, a utility building also on the property. The assessment went out at $368,441. The appeal was heard on the local level. The local board lowered it to $332,331. I did appeal back the local board's decision, bringing back the assessor's value to $368,441 for county to hear the appeal. I felt the board made an adjustment that would have created an inequity in the property value, and I felt our current data supported our valuation.
Are you running the power of the show off of your computer?
No,
Send this to you somehow.
it's just taking time to load.
I downloaded it and opened it already, so I think there's something wrong with it. Maybe refresh it.
Are the commissioners able to see the information? Because I just keep getting scrolly. It keeps loading.
I'm looking in the information on our share file.
Okay.
I'm looking at our information.
There you go.
We do show 4 comparables for your consideration. They are newer than the appealed property, but I think for consideration of what we're trying to show in our presentation, they were worthy of the sales in the area. So the assessed value of the property, subject property, is assessed at $276 per square foot. The cost using our comparables shows a range between $271 and $287 a square foot. The market is indicating a market between $320 and $412 per square foot. One of the primary reasons for the appealed properties is because of the having a high voltage power lines on site. That was the complaint's main appeal. The property sales show no external obsolescence due to power lines. So all of these sales that we're showing show some type of obstruction from either a power line or a power lift station. And we wanted to show that those types of sales do not impact value. And if we're able to bring this up, I could show you that on. So your map would show some blue and I think red lines, and those would show that they have a power line or a pipeline easement on the property. And those were the sales that we used to show.
Is there a flash drive up there?
I'm gonna try reloading again, just going.
I don't know what I'm doing here. sure.
Do you guys see the map? Are you able to go into Civic Clerk and see that information? You are, Tiffany, okay.
Yeah, I'm able to look at everything.
Okay,
I can't see anything.
yeah.
And you guys have an extra flash drive up there, do you? You want my computer to scroll through?
Are you in the agenda part or are you on the,
My computer won't even log in.
Must be something wrong with Civic Clerk tonight. Maybe they'll give us some early back.
I'm in Civic Clerk just fine.
I can't.
so am I.
Restart.
Yeah, I can't.
Maybe we just need to try it again.
Well, our power went out earlier and you weren't part of that, so I don't know what card we did.
Go completely out?
I
Well,
would,
you're not in Civic
Carla,
Clerk
shut
at all.
everything down up there,
It was
and then
taking a
rebring
long
it up.
time.
Just shut everything down.
We had to wait a long time for it
Do a restart?
Yeah.
I would,
to. Okay, so
at
that's
this point, we'll wait
that
for,
screen. And then if you,
Apologize for the delay.
but how about that rain today? Wasn't that amazing?
Yes.
this is what happened earlier. It looks like it's gonna work that way. But I just went into the agendas and then
Pull it down through each one.
that's what I've done.
So we restarted the computer up front, and now it's spinning. Wait. Here it comes.
Did yours come up with a sign in for you?
Mine's just showing the public screen. April, how do I get this thing to, so I can log in and,
Hit that arrow button once.
No, it's not coming out.
Don't press
It won't come out.
when all else fails, just pull the plug? I mean, it was working, just now to see that.
Well, isn't this fun?
I know.
How did we not notice it?
No, it was working.
She was taking mine, she's page up and down.
Ours won't come out.
I'm not having any problems.
Go up and read over top of Tiffany's shoulder.
We'll
Thank you.
I'll have it in a minute.
have the
Is that
presentation.
my screen or their screen?
That's theirs. You probably did it one time.
Pull it out and it'll get corrupted.
There you go. That's fire enough.
Now mine's starting.
Yep.
Now this one won't go on.
Is that just for this parcel?
No, it's just the whole evening presentation, but it's just, all right, well, it's so slow. I don't care, whatever, let's give it a try.
What do we need? Agenda?
Yeah, when you pull up the whole presentation, that's really slow to load.
Just wait.
Well, I mean, it's on here. I'm not worried about the internet. I think unless it gets corrupted, because I.
Oh, I wonder what I put on here.
Public packet.
This is, this one?
Yep. Cross your fingers. Looks big enough.
Did you get it to pull up on the agenda?
I did.
on the one?
I did.
Okay.
You did?
Yesterday I was pulling them up all individually.
Mhm.
That works much better.
It does.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through yesterday and it was a
It's loading.
pain.
Where's the mouse for this? Do we even have one?
Oh. Is it this one?
Yeah, it probably has to be this one.
Can you give me that flash drive back?
Where is it?
I don't know where she put it at. There's another one though. Look at that. I'll use this one.
Dang it.
So I can't use it. Probably confidential stuff or something, who knows?
This must be disconnected.
April, was that USB drive still plugged in here?
Yeah.
Is it up top here somewhere?
No, it's underneath.
Okay, sorry.
This had a connection to that. That's why I did this.
We're ruining my timeline.
It would said file not found, and that's probably because I didn't wait to eject it. I just ripped it out because I was.
We can
impatient.
try.
Just continue with this? As long as Joel was able to see, were you able to see the parcels?
It doesn't necessarily work, but we can try plugging it in.
Just get into the agenda and pull up your recommendation on each one.
On which one?
Just in the regular agenda.
We can't get any of the agenda to come up on this particular.
Isn't that everything that's a part of the presentation? Agenda is at the beginning of each one. The full agenda is on the first page.
See if this is gonna allow this.
Okay, I waited this time. I think it's gonna work. Give it another shot.
Yeah, just wait.
But let me just plug it in.
There we go.
Okay, you have this computer up there.
Okay.
So what can you see with this?
I don't know.
Plug that in down.
That's the whole presentation.
I'm sorry.
Is that the presentation?
That's the whole presentation.
Yeah,
Plug that in down.
it's the same as this. So
I'll work on this. You work from this. It's showing up there. You're fine. Does that make sense, Carla?
I'm just trying to get page up.
There's the truth.
Do you have your mouse?
Mouse is right there. Or is that, or one of these is the mouse for this.
that's Austin's. So.
Okay. Oh, that's that mouse, isn't it?
Well, it's the same
It's
thing.
Okay,
working.
good, good, good. Okay.
Okay, I'll just leave that there.
You guys continue.
I talked to Meyer. See your said I've heard.
Nothing like starting 15 minutes late.
This session. You got what you want.
Well, he didn't get everything. You got which was Swede statutes.
Are we good to go?
So those policies.
You want to try the flash drive?
The whole thing can be owner occupied. The parcel, well, there's a house on it. So he didn't get owner occupied house, but he got it.
So see,
What's that?
It's the next one I'm looking at.
Why wouldn't they put that?
Page 19.
Are they the same comps?
No.
Well, if you look that way, you can see the bill. I think he's doing some general. He gave him like 2 years.
You've got all the stats, you can see that, his interpolation.
I can't disagree, I mean.
One's a bare lot and the other one's not a bare lot, so they have
As I
to.
thought it was straight, because when you read what he wrote,
But like,
when he read that law, it says pretty clear that I think he could have. But we didn't necessarily.
all of these comps are also along Highline Pulse too on the first one, so the map you're looking for isn't included. I think that's the part is missing.
You guys, you know that we're streaming, right? You didn't recess, so everything is recorded and we're still streaming.
It's okay.
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 I want them to see that we're still working, deliberating, debating. Are we ready?
We are ready.
Okay, Carla.
Turn your mic on.
Continue.
Turn your mic on. Schmidt.
Nope.
So the comparable properties that were chosen for this appeal all have some type of obstruction from either a pipeline, a high line, or a substation, either in their backyard or right next to them. I am going to skip this next set of maps should have been included with this particular appeal. It wasn't attached until the next appeal.
Okay.
But comp 1 shows that this comparable, there was a buried hazardous liquid pipeline, and that was comp 1 that sold. Comp 2 was next to a natural gas pipeline that had sold. Comp 3 and 4 were nearby a pipeline or a transfer station. Comp 3 was adjacent to electrical power substation. Once we analyzed those sales, we determined that there were no valuation obsolescence needed on properties that were near or had an adjacent pipeline, high line, or substation near them. So although an adjustment was considered, there was no credible evidence where we would need to make an adjustment for that type of property. Again, our 3 approaches to value show that the assessed value using the cost comparison approach is in just right in the middle using the cost, and it's on the lower end of the market. For those reasons, this is why the assessor appealed the local board's decision and brought it back for county consideration. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Further questions for our director? Carla, one question I have. These pipelines that you used were they were fairly close to houses? So, like, I mean,
So all of the comps had a high line or power line that ran in their backyard.
okay, in their backyard.
Yeah, on
Okay.
the lot.
Okay, on the lot. All right, thank you.
On the first set of comps that include the home for this property.
Okay. Is there a spokesperson here for the trust?
Yes.
Would you come up, sir, and state your name and your address for the record?
Randall Haber, 47018 Terry Lane, T.
Okay.
This property, only about half of this lot has any buildable square footage to it. Right behind our house is one of the towers We had this revalued back in '21 and got it taken back for them reasons, because they didn't take into account this tower and this unbuildable. So at that point, it was dropped back to where we thought it should be as far as the valuation of, I believe it was 65, roughly 65,000, 65,940. And then it seemed to have gone right back up the next, through the next 2 years, and we didn't have a chance to have this reassessed again. But the value of this, by far, is not the same as if it didn't have this tower on it and the buildable land. I just don't see how it can be the valuation of what's stated.
Okay.
Got a couple of questions for you, sir.
Yes,
How much did you buy the property for?
I bought it was actually the next 2 lots beside it also, so it was a total of what now is 3 lots, and I paid $17,000 for all 3 lots.
What year was that, sir?
2016.
And then you bought 3 barren lots and then you
It
built
was
on
just
one of them?
field. Yep, and then yep. And in the meantime, we have sold the 2 lots. We had 2 lots divided into 3. We sold off the 2 lots next to us. And I think we sold them for less than half of the $60,000 assessment.
How much did you sell them for?
I don't know exact numbers. I think one was 17,000 and one of them was 20, low 20s. Again, because buildable is, the houses that they did put up had to be carefully placed in a corner, basically, because you couldn't build in the center of the lots.
And I see the county here, the assessor's office says it's worth $332. And what are you requesting it to be valued?
We have no issues with the structures. It's just the land figure. So we would like it to go to the land at 65,940. And I don't know what that'll bring the total to.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I misspoke just now. The assessor's office says it's worth $368 total. They say that there's land is worth 102, the house is worth 237, and then there's another outbuilding the county says is worth 28,000.
Yes, structures are all fine.
Okay,
We're just disputing the value of the land itself.
okay. So if we isolate that down, you claim land is worth 65K. County
On the
says-
very high side,
On the high side, county says it's worth 102. Is that basically the only dispute?
yes.
Okay.
Sir, what was it valued at last year? Do you know?
May I speak?
Same? Sure.
I'm his wife.
Yeah, no problem.
My name is Mary Haber, and last year and for the last couple of years, it's been valued the same as it was this year. In 2021 is when we had previously disputed this, and the board, the commissioners, agreed that the buildable area was significant and that it was reduced. And therefore, since the formula between 2021 and today hasn't changed on land value for residential, I used the same figure that was reassessed by the commissioners in 2021. So that's how we got the 65,940.
So this has been at 65,940 for 2 years?
No, it was only that 1 year. What we didn't realize is that it appears the computer system resets and uses the actual formula that's used on all residential properties per acre, which is the 65,000 per acre. And we didn't realize that, and therefore we've been paying the higher amount for the last several years, and that's why I'm asking that it be adjusted and using that figure from 2021 because your formula hasn't changed.
Yeah, it's indisputable here that your buildable area is clearly reduced. I don't think anyone disagrees with that. But what you're saying is the land has had no increase in value. I understand you dispute the county's total dollar amount on land value. But if I understand correctly, you want us to roll all the way back to 2021?
No, I don't think that's a realistic expectation. I'm just using the figure from 2021.
Understood.
Sorry that I didn't make that clear.
So is the $65,000 amount from 2021, or is that what you extrapolate out to be under your calculation, what it would be worth today?
I don't think it'd even be worth that today. Not with this little bit of buildable that's on any of these lots.
Do you have any comparables that you think are a more accurate reflection? I mean, do you have any evidence of a decrease in value to your property? I mean, do you find anything wrong with the comparables used by our equalization office?
I couldn't tell what was in these yards. The main thing I think is, I don't know if any of these comparables have this huge tower right behind where their house had to be.
The one thing that I think needs to be considered is the buildable area with these 56-foot tall towers. It's 66 or 66 and a half feet from the center line each direction. And in 2021, the commissioners agreed that the buildable area was significantly reduced by that amount. And that's how I determined the amount that I'm asking that it be adjusted to. Because your formula is the 65,000 per acre. Nothing else has changed with the property since then. And I'm not certain, based on what we just talked about, but if there's a power line that reduces the buildable area, that is not the same thing as being
close to it.
Close to an area, or, using a piece of it simply for the power, what did you call it, the substation or something?
Right.
As well as, any kind of a pipeline. A pipeline doesn't change your buildable area.
Unless it's right underneath it.
Unless it's right under your house, yeah, but it doesn't change your buildable area.
Your total lot area is 1.57 acres. After you take away what the power line does, how much acreage do you have after that?
Do you have that
Buttons
number?
are not on.
I only have this
No, so you're gonna have to keep
diagram
track.
that you gave
Write the
me.
time down.
Okay. We're approaching the 10-minute level here, folks, so we try to keep everything at 10 minutes. We started late. So if you have no other comments, I'm going to close this and ask the commissioners for their recommendation, and if they don't, I have a proposal that I would make.
Let's hear it.
I'm looking at keeping the outer buildings the same. I'm looking at the land, and I'm factoring in a growth rate of 8% a year for the past 3 years, which would bring the land price up to $82,425.
Mr. Chair, I can support that. I'll make that my motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Jerry, will you call the roll?
It's 84025?
I said 82,425.
82, okay. Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Yes. Motion carries. Thank you for coming in, folks.
They
Be
have the next
safe.
appeal too, Jim.
Pardon?
They have the next appeal too.
Under, is it Pommier? Pommier? Pomier?
No, these have two. This is.
Yeah, we have the
My
next one.
apologies.
We have the next
The
one
next one.
is Palmier, excuse me, sir. 2023 property, Carla?
Our next appeal is parcel number 099.50.08.2033. It's located at 27446 471st Avenue. It's owned by Rex and Deborah Palmier. It is a single-family home built in 1995 with 1,328 square feet. It does have a full basement with 1,280 square feet of living area. It also has an attached garage of 749 square feet. The assessment went out at $368,602 for the 2024 assessment year. That assessment was appealed to the local board of equalization. The local board of equalization lowered it down to $205,281. I did appeal back the local board's decision, bringing it back for county consideration, making the assessor recommendation back at $368,602. And again, here are some comparable properties that have the same type of concern that the appellant has, whether it be a pipeline, a pump station, or any type of obstruction on the property. The assessor recommends no change. The assessment is within the cost values and below market value. Comparable properties show sales next to pipelines and transmission areas as shown in the maps provided. No impact to property value was discovered. The current assessed value on the subject property is at $277 per square foot. The cost ranges between $246 and $320 per square foot. The market is indicating a market range between $323 and $377 per square foot. The next few slides show where the comparable properties are located and what type of pipeline they may be near to or transmission line, power substations. With that information, I will stand by for any questions that the commission may have.
Okay. Any questions for our director? If not, Rex and Deborah, you want to come forward? Give us your name and your address, please, for the record.
Rex and Deborah Palmier, 27446 471st Avenue, Harrisburg. Okay, our property is unique as the oil pipeline valve is directly across from our driveway. I don't know, picture there? I don't know if these pictures are on your thing or not. But and I have an article from 2021 that 750,000 barrels of oil go through the pipeline every day. And they're going to expand or had planned to expand the pumping stations. So there will be I'm a little nervous. 1.1 million barrels will flow through the pipeline every day. Even the smallest leak at that rate will destroy our property. Would you buy property next to this pipeline, let alone a valve? There are 2 leaks in North Dakota even before the property was operational and on the pipeline. And another one in South Dakota on April 4th, 2017, before it was fully operational. Can you imagine the leak? A leak that would occur now going through that pipeline at 1.1 million barrels? As for the comparables, comparable 1 on Highway 115 is not next to a valve. Even though a pipeline runs next to that property, the buyer may not even have known it was there, as the easement, I don't believe, was probably on that property, but behind it. Comparable 2 is not next to a valve. It does have electric wires overhead, but is not a valid comparable for an oil pipeline. Copper Ridge also is not next to an oil pipeline or valve. It has an electric substation nearby, but that will not destroy the land if it malfunctions. And the Johnson Creek Court is next to a pipe substation. But can you tell me what kind of pipe? It's probably not a oil because it is in a city residential area. I did find a pipeline valve next to the Big Sioux River, and the properties near it were about 2,000 feet from the valve, and ours is about 450 feet from the valve and 75 feet from the pipeline. One newly built property was closer, but the land was given to them by their parents to build on, which would make it a lot less costly for them to build there, even with the risk of being near a valve. The other parcel, which will be next, I believe should also be adjusted. The assessor says there's a building eligibility on it, but a home could not be built on this part of the land as the elevation is so low that water often sets on it for days after heavy rain, even today's rain. There would be no way to put a septic on it without it backing up. There would also be setbacks from the electric lines which run along the south side of our property. And the property lines would affect the building size. You might say that we could raise the land, but that would cause other areas of our property to have more water. And it's not worth the cost of raising all of our property elevation next to an oil pipeline and valve, most likely never recovering the cost. At the rate of increases of valuation and taxes, only the young who inherit property or the rich will be able to live in Lincoln County. Even if you half the value you are assessing for our land on the house parcel and a third of the value you are assessing on the land of the front parcel, it would be more realistic considering the unique situation of our properties being next to an extremely high volume pipeline and valve.
I have a couple of questions for you folks. Did you sign an easement granting this pipeline, or did you not live there when the pipeline was installed?
It's across our property line,
Oh,
and
it's
we
across
didn't
your
have
line.
an easement.
And how many feet would you say that's from your property?
50 feet probably from the property line.
If even.
From the house itself, about 75 feet.
And that also goes to the easement questions, because I dug out some paperwork when we were putting this together, and Dakota Access requested a 200-foot easement
Yeah.
on either side of their pipeline, but they were able to park the pipeline 75 feet from our house. So that removes pretty much any building eligibility on the front parcel.
Well, the thing that I'm thinking, I know that we have restrictions on some pipelines, and I'm not sure, but I know Dakota Access, I thought we had some kind of setback requirements beyond 50 feet. That seems to me,
It looks like it's 528 feet from the garage.
That pipeline,
The valve maybe.
yeah, the valve is that far away because our driveway is the length of a football field, and the pipeline, or the valve is across the road from it. They angled the pipeline itself to just south of our property, both the parcels of property, and it runs about 50 feet away from our property line. So we had no chance of signing or refusing any kind of an easement. And we were told that if somebody else wanted to buy it, and we were afraid of the pipeline, just don't tell them. In other words, lie about it.
how far from your house is this pipe? Because I think our requirements are not necessarily from the property line, which we can debate all night or day, but are from the house itself. So how far would you guess this line is from your house?
We're guessing it's about 75 feet from the house.
Boy.
That was our reaction when we saw them digging the hole.
Sir, I got a couple questions.
Sure.
I see the substation there. That was their Was that there before you moved in or after?
The valve?
The valve?
No,
Oh.
for the electrical.
Oh, the electric was there before. We don't,
Okay.
there's no substation there.
It's not why we're
just the
here, though.
350,000
It's
volt
not why we're
line.
here.
Okay, so, yeah, I just referred to it as a
Is there evidence
substation,
that the
because I was
property's
looking
been
at it on the
devalued?
map
There's
here.
not.
Okay.
Okay, so that was there.
You're right.
You
Yes.
moved in. What'd you pay for the property when you moved in?
135,000 for
What?
both of them.
135?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Do you have, folks, do you have any evidence? We have, our equalization department has put up some comparables, but do you have any evidence to present to the commission that properties like yours would not sell, or they sell at a severely reduced price?
We have articles that have been published in, I don't know if they're national or regional publications, talking 25 to 40% reduction in values due to pipelines of this size running on the property or right next to it. We have also, when we were at the township equalization meetings, and this is circumstantial evidence, obviously, we had multiple people come up to us and tell us that knowing the pipeline was there, they wouldn't buy our property if we gave it to them.
So until we would try to sell it, which we don't want to sell it or couldn't afford to replace it, we won't know what it would sell for or if it would sell.
When did you all purchase property?
1998.
Okay.
And I know,
And the home was already there?
Yes. The home was built in 95, so it was 3 years old when we bought it.
And the pipeline was installed
2016?
2016?
It was there when you purchased the
Yeah.
property?
Yep,
No.
We bought it in 1998.
98, okay.
98.
Yeah.
And it was installed in 16.
The pipeline was put in almost about 18 years after we bought the place. One other.
Is your second property, folks, I mean, I don't want, maybe I can't ask this, but I will. Is your second property under the same situation that this one is?
Yes.
Okay, so they're similar, both of them?
Second one is to the west of the house. It's
Okay.
the front yard, basically.
Okay. Well, commissioners, I don't,
Here's where I'm at. I want some facts that show that this should be devalued. I don't have any facts. And that's where I get stuck is, I mean, everybody wants to make everybody feel good and everybody wants to give people what they want, and I can't say that I don't want that. But the fact is we don't have any evidence that the property's devalued. Nobody's coming in here with comparables to give us that show a devaluation of, devaluated sales based on the fact that there's a pipeline there. So I'm of the mind that we uphold our assessor's valuation.
I've got papers from 2 studies saying that oil pipelines adversely affect property values.
Okay. These are allotted 10 minutes, so that's what we're looking for is the facts and the evidence that shows a devalued.
So you just
Devaluation.
devalued somebody who has power lines in their yard, a valve
folks,
across the
yeah.
street.
So Commissioner,
we are at 10 minutes.
Right,
Commissioner, what
so-
would
We
you
have
like?
20 minutes with both of our properties.
I've made a motion to uphold our assessor's valuation. If it dies for a second, that's fine, but let's move it forward.
Okay. Do we have a second to that?
I mean, at this point, we're okay with the building value.
Commissioner Aaron's,
But the
can you
land-
second that, or are you still working on something?
I wish I could math faster.
I know.
Commissioner.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, here's where I'm at, folks. I'd give you a little bit of relief, but not for the reasons you're asking for. I think your property has a little bit of devaluation because its backyard is that electrical thing and because you had flooding in the past. I don't think it's because of the oil pipeline, though, because property values are going up in other places around the county to which people have not objected. So I think y'all are on the right track for the wrong reasons.
So are these properties that actually have easements, or are they, do they even know that the
Need a chair.
pipeline is there?
That, to me, in the property
move the chair to you,
valuation
and
process,
then back.
that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
thing, you have to assume that people know the pipeline's there. But in reality, we don't know, okay? You just have to assume people are informed. Are they really? Who knows?
Do you have a number, Joel?
Do you have a number, Joel? Because we're running way behind on
Yeah,
time.
here would be my motion. My motion is to, shoot, I lost the screen here. My motion is to value the land at $64,500 and to value the house at $274,102.
For a total of what?
One moment. $338.
I'll second.
338,000.
We have a motion by Commissioner Aaron's to put the land back at what price, please? Fill that in.
64,000.
64,000, and the house at,
284,000.
for a total of 338,000. We have a second from Commissioner Landine. Will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine.
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt.
Yes. We have item number 3, which will be a repetition of what we just heard, correct?
This is slightly different. It is a parcel that has a utility building on it. There is no single-family dwelling, but essentially the land is in front of their current single-family residence. But the same type of argument and the same type of information is being presented. Sorry,
I see we have numerous appellate documents here.
It's an outbuilding, it's not a garage.
Is it a machine
Basically a
shed or?
storage shed.
Yeah, it's
Storage shed?
just a machine or utility building, 24 by 48.
And when was that put up?
2004.
And it was in 2004?
I didn't really remember what year it was.
Yeah, 2004 is what county records indicate.
Okay, and what did y'all pay for that, to put that up?
About somewhere between 14 and 15.
Okay.
And that's still in use today?
Yes.
The local board lowered the land value to 9,152, and they lowered the structure value to 18,387 for a local board valuation of 27,539. And the director of equalization appealed the local board's decision to be heard at county board.
Carla, you know what that adjacent property is valued at, right next to them, that residential property?
Can you answer that question? What the adjacent property is to the north?
While you're being answered, folks, while I get, Joel is getting an answer. So this property remains just adjacent to you. You have an outbuilding on there that you utilize. You have no intent to, it's just next to your property, correct? I mean, that's all? It isn't, there's no,
Driveway goes through the middle of it,
yeah. Okay.
and it's underwater a lot.
Just like the backyard.
The one to the north?
The residential property.
When you bought that,
Just barely.
you were aware
Oh,
of
it
that?
is?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when we bought it, with all the
I mean,
development.
the
land
low,
worth?
the low ground, the flooding.
It didn't flood for several years until all the buildings started going around T and
Okay.
everything that drains along the drainage ditch north of us.
256, 950.
And so that's.
See, the hard part is what Commissioner Landine said. We have to go on facts, and yet we don't know that, you know, I know you got a pipeline through there, I know all that kind of stuff, and trying to find, you know, in 10 minutes, trying to figure out all of this stuff, and it has value. I mean, land has value. Your building has not changed much. I mean, you know, I look at that and I figure that's in line with an outbuilding. And the big issue here is what the land is worth. Well, you know, you'd like to get by with 9,000, but I think that's far too low. I think we put we had other land. You got a motion, Commissioner? Thank you.
I will move to put the land at 23,468, leave the other buildings at 21,710.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Landine, second by Commissioner Aaron, for the land to be moved to 23,468 and the building to remain at 21,710. Will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
We now are at number 4 on our agenda. We have Michael and Amber Rand.
It's working now. Oh.
It's supposed to be.
Switch mouse. Did you switch the mouse?
Just a second. It doesn't work.
You ready?
Oh my God.
Are they online?
She's working on it.
Okay.
He had it open. He said it was a packet.
I unplugged the computer. Did you close something? I don't know.
Are you Mr. Rand?
No, he's on the phone.
Oh, okay.
Did you close something? Because he had it open on here.
When you closed it out, that's what happened. When you pulled the,
I have no idea.
All right.
oh, here we go.
Actually, Jacob downloaded the packet and it was actually.
It did, when he pulled it out. Okay, well, I should be able to just do it by, if you, yeah, we can get started. I'm just gonna show the presentation. I did print this out, for my review
Okay.
before the meeting today, so we'll just go with this, if that's okay. Our next appeal is parcel number 099.51.14.B500. It's located at 46899 Linkota Court. It's owned by Michael and Amber Rand. It is a mobile home that has the title surrendered as of 2013. We are still valuing it as a manufactured home built in 1995. It has 1,568 square feet. It has a full basement with finished, well, just partial finish. It's just the walkout. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. Its current assessed value is $190,435. That's the property. Our 3 comparables are also mobile homes in the county, one of which is right in the same neighborhood as the appellant, and that's comp number 3. Comp number 3 was also, the title was surrendered on that. Part of the argument from the appellant is stated in his PT 17 that it is difficult to get financing for mobile homes. And they're saying banks don't loan on them, and you have to have good credit, which I think you have to have good credit for a loan, regardless. But I did want to show that we do have very current mobile home sales, one of which sold in 2023 and then again in 24. We did not use that sale in our analysis for the 23 values, but I wanted to show you that it is relevant for this appeal. The 3 approaches to value. The price per square foot on the subject property is $121 per square foot. Using the cost method, it's between 95 and 101. The difference in that is this subject property has a full basement. None of the other comparable properties do. The market is indicating a market range between $120 and $224 a square foot. This was heard at local board. Local board went with the testimony of the appellant and dropped the valuation down to $147,500. But given that we had credible factual information of current mobile home sales, the assessor director of equalization appealed back the local board's decision for county consideration and the assessor recommendation back to $190,435.
Thank you, Carla. Is the applicant on the phone?
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Carla one question?
Yeah. Yes.
The term mobile home gets thrown around a lot. You know, I used to represent a mobile home lot in Sioux Falls. I want to figure this one out. Is this a manufactured home or is this a mobile home?
This was a mobile home.
Okay.
And the difference between a mobile home and a modular home is it has an undercarriage. It came on wheels.
And is that now removed?
And a modular home is a stick built in a facility it
Correct.
brought.
So is the undercarriage now removed because
Yes.
it's sitting on a basement?
That is correct.
Okay, so it started out as mobile home, but now it's fixed to a basement?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is the applicant on the phone? Are they on the phone?
Hello?
Mike, we're on?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, you're on, Mike. Make your appeal, make your statement to your appeal, but I have a question for you out of the box, okay?
Okay.
When you went to finance this thing, did they prorate that on the value of your mobile home? Because a lot of time it is difficult to get financing. But I'd like to have you explain if you did get financing, what they valued the mobile home at. If you follow me.
I guess I don't remember what it was valued at. I guess I know what we paid for it, but
okay.
I guess it was that it was 140 something is why I paid for it, but
okay.
I guess I don't.
Well, why don't you go ahead with your appeal to the commission?
Well, I guess I part of it, I haven't done anything to improve the value of the place, I guess, and then another part of it, I guess, is our road is the four people that live out there. We all have to maintain our own road, and that's been fairly costly over the past few years to make a road drivable out there, I guess, and I'm still waiting on to hear whether it's a public or a private road, because I'm told both, and I don't think that's possible. It's either public or private, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's the biggest thing. I haven't done anything to improve the value of it. I don't feel I'm getting anything out of higher taxes, I guess, as far as that goes, and besides road maintenance. So
Okay.
that's about it.
Tell me your outbuilding that you have, what's the condition of that? And is that in full use today?
Well, I guess one is just a crappy shed that was on the property when I moved there. It's definitely nothing special. It's just a junk shed. Eventually it'll get to be decent, I guess, I suppose. But the other one is my dad's shed. That's the one that's, I see it'd be on the west side there. And that's not a permanent foundation deal. It's kind of, when he gets a spot to put it, it's going to get moved out to his spot, I guess.
So it'll be moved off your property?
At some point, yeah. Yeah, it's just on on skids, I guess.
Is it on skids, so it's portable?
Yep, yeah, it is on skids. It's just on a semi-level gravel spot right now, just so it's not twisting and getting all messed up. But it is on skids.
So it's a temporary structure?
Yes.
Well, the valuation that we are showing as the other building, that is his garage, because it's owner occupied.
Oh, okay.
And that is a permanent structure?
Yes.
The garage itself is permanent, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's both a garage and that machine shed or outbuilding that's lumped into.
You're breaking up, what's that?
I'm sorry, sir. I need to talk into my mic. I was asking Carla a question. So that other garage and that other building are lumped into the category other buildings?
That is correct, and that is like a garden shed. It has a $980 value,
Right,
along with the garage.
right, okay,
Total value, yes. 20.
okay. And then what about this building that Commissioner Schmidt was asking about?
I don't
This
think,
long building that belongs to
There
his
is only
dad?
one detached garage and a small garden shed, no
Okay.
other buildings.
So, sir, when you talk about some kind of building going back to your dad, which building are
Yep.
you referring to? The garden shed?
It'd be the one that's to the southwest. Let's see, yeah, southwest, just off the garage there.
Yeah, it's that little garden shed?
Yep.
Okay.
So is there anything else you want us to know for
Yes.
your appeal?
No, I guess that's about it that I can think of, I guess. I don't have my notes with me, but I had to go to work, so I'm at work now, but I forgot my notes at home, so.
Thank you. If the chair is ready, I've got a motion to set the land at 47,500, the residents at 101,994, and the other buildings at 19,474.
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Landine, second by Commissioner Aaron's. And do you want to read those numbers one more time, Commissioner? Appreciate it.
47,500 on the land, 101,994 on the residents, and 19,474 on the other buildings.
Will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries. Thank you, Mike, for your input.
Yep.
Have a good evening. We are now moving on to item number 5, which is Michael Pezier. Boy, I'm having a tough time with names here.
Our next
Carl?
appeal is parcel number 099.51.14 1.B700. It's located at 46896 Linkota Court. It's owned by Michael S. Plazier. It is a manufactured home where the title has been surrendered. The title was surrendered in 2003. So the Department of Revenue motor vehicle considers that been converted to real estate. It's built in 1994, has 1,344 square feet. It has 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It does have an attached garage of 1,163 square feet. We do show a shed on the property as well. The total assessed value went out at $195,040. It was appealed to the local board. The local board changed the value to $149,068. The Director of Equalization did appeal back the local board's decision. Again, the financing was one of the reasons for the appeal. They said financing is not available, in which case I can show comparable properties of mobile homes that have sold just recently in Lincoln County. Even the property just right in their neighborhood. Back up. Right here, we have 5 comparables to show you for consideration. The property that sold was right next to that property. It was sold for $180,000 in September of '23, and the current assessment on that was $146,789. So our assessments on these types of property are not overvalued. Here's the map that shows where the subject property and Comp 1 are located. The other properties that we used for consideration, just to show that there is financing for manufactured type housing, are on red to the south of the subject property. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Carla. Is Michael here? Anybody?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Okay, Mike, your turn to make your presentation to the commission.
Well, I guess I don't know what she's talking about because I had my house sold during COVID, and the people had to back out because they couldn't find bank financing or financing through a mortgage company. The house right next to me has sold 2 times in the last few years for cash because people would come from out of state and buy it, and they had cash because they sold more expensive houses out of state. Financing is an issue with my house. The shed is not attached. It's built on top of the ground, so I don't believe that counts in any of the assessment value. The street that I'm on is considered public property, but the county and township and everyone has refused to do any maintenance on it. So I have to buy and own and maintain equipment to take care of the road in the wintertime and the summer. Me with my neighbors, we have to buy all the gravel to maintain the road. So, I really don't feel like I should be assessed in the same way that other houses are being assessed, because it's not like any other houses.
Okay. Is there any other things? Have you been able to secure financing for this property?
I own it. I don't have
Okay,
any
you
financing. No, none of the houses in that little cul-de-sac there's 4 of them. None of them are financed that
Okay.
I'm aware of. I know 3 are not for sure. 1 may be, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Does your property, you said it was a mobile home, got converted to manufactured housing. Does it still have the undercarriage on it?
Yeah, the wheels and axles were taken off, but it's just so it would, fit. But
And
yeah,
there's no
it's still
basement, is there?
It is on a basement. It's on an unfinished basement.
Unfinished basement, okay.
So in order for the Department of Revenue motor vehicle to consider it real estate and convert it from a mobile home to real estate, the undercarriage and wheels have to be removed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what he meant by undercarriage. Maybe that is the axles and the hitch. Maybe that's what the Department of Revenue considers undercarriage. I don't know. but it's still got the metal framework underneath it, which I guess it can't live without that. The house falls apart without that. So they probably mean axles and tires. So yes, undercarriage has been removed then, I guess.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Unless commissioners have other questions. Value the land at 48,000. Value the structure at 125,000. Value other buildings at 1,500.
So you wanna increase the land by 500?
I want to make the land the same price the appellant requested, 48K.
For a grand total of 5, 13, 14, carry the 1, 6, 7, 174,000. Is that what you come up for? 174.5?
So 48K plus 120,000 plus 1,500.
Oh, you said 125,000.
Oh, sorry, 125.
I got 174.5.
I'll second.
Do we have a motion by Commissioner Aaron, second by Commissioner Landine to set the land at 48,000, to set the house at 125, to set the land at 1,500 for a total of 174,500. Auditor, please call the roll.
Commissioner Aaron's,
Yes.
Commissioner Landine,
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt,
Yes, motion carries. We have rescheduled item number 6. We'll go to item number 7, which is Heroes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
You bet. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Heroes Massage LLP. Hang on, we'll get you in a minute here, Ron. Okay.
Our next appeal is parcel number 0951.36.4030. It's located at 46958 279th Street. It's owned by Heroes Massage LLP. It is a single-family residence that sits on 120 acres. It was built in 1900. It has approximately 1,384 square feet, a full basement that has 944 square feet. I will tell you, there is a recommendation on the table. We did go out and did a inspection with the property owner on the property. We did make a recommendation to do a 90% obsolescence on the home, and all the other accessory buildings are depreciated to its fullest. With that being said, we have a current recommendation to lower the house and detached garage from $6,557 to $1,891, because the structure is still there. We just 90% depreciated it out.
For the garage.
We removed all the value of the house.
Entire value, okay, thank you. And the accessory buildings, we lowered from $2,575 to $1,750, bringing a total valuation to $319,997.
Did that include, Carla, that you took out the 1891 for the house?
No, they brought it down to 1891 from 6557.
I thought they zeroed it out altogether.
We zeroed out the house, the structure that's still remaining is the detached
Oh, but you left
garage.
the garage
Yep.
as part of it. Okay. All right, Carla, anything else?
No.
Okay. Who is representing Heroes Massage? Would you come forward? Give your name and your address, please.
I'm Ron Van Loo. I live at 5501 North Castle Drive, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And what we're talking about is the farmstead house that is not, I mean, it's totally destroyed, you know.
Yeah.
It's of no value. The garage, yeah, we've got some garden tractor, lawnmower in there, but that's it.
Ron, the other buildings, they've got listed here at 1750. Those are buildings beyond the house and the garage. Are they in the same shape?
Yeah, he took pictures of, this David Edmond did, took pictures of them, and, that's the old tool shed, and, which is, you know, the siding's all coming off, and the granary, and that's not being used, and the barn is totally down. I mean,
No, yeah.
it's,
Anything else you'd like the commissioners to know, Ron?
well, I didn't do anything on the land, but, you know, we got 120 acres there, and, we got farmable of 80 acres. I don't know. It's, the rest is all flooded out, and I think, the neighbors have that big slough that used to be Button Jones, and the slough is, been used for game fishing parks and so on, and they kind of, I think, plugged the waterway, and it's backing up into our field, and we can't farm it now. I've got a renter that rents it, but, so we've only got 120, out of the 120, we got 80 acres of farmable ground.
Mr. Van Lowe, is that
Yes.
how I pronounce your name?
Yep.
Are you,
Van Lo, yes.
Van Lowe, do you still get a little bit of usage out of that garage and that outbuilding? Have you got things stored in those sheds?
Just the, yeah, the garage has got a mower in it, and that's about it, some oil, you know.
Did Carla and her team tell you that they reduced the buildings down to 1891 and then 1750 for a total of 319,997? Do you agree, what I'm getting at is, do you agree with the new recommendation, or do you still want all the buildings zeroed out to nothing?
No, that's, the other buildings we can leave there, just, we gotta get the house off.
Yeah, understood. So, Mr. Chairman, unless other commissioners got a question, I got a recommendation or
Okay.
a motion. My motion is value the land at $316,356. Build it, value the detached garage and house at 1891. Value the other buildings at 1750 for a total assessed value of $319,997.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to uphold the auditor's our assessor's valuation. Will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries. So Ron, you've got,
Thank you.
thank you. Take care. Now we have our number 8 on the agenda, Dennis Wilkin.
Our next appeal is parcel number 100.49.16.A0D1. It is legally described as Lot 1, Tract D of Thornson's Addition in the east half of the southwest quarter in Section 16, Township 100, Range 49. The property is owned by Dennis L. Wilkin. It consists of 3.69 acres, and it's currently classified as rural residential. The assessment notice went out at $138,800. It was heard at the local level. The local board made no change to the current assessed value, so they upheld the assessor's recommend value. We do show 4 comparables of bare lots in and around the area of the subject property, all of which have some type of water or floodway that are associated with these parcels, and I'll get to that. Currently, we have, on average, the property assessed at $37,615 per acre. The cost or the comparables assessed value is between $22,800 and $48,462 per acre. The market is indicating a market range of $33,980 to $59,135 per acre. Just want to quickly brief through some of the pictures that we show. This is the subject property and then the floodplain that's within that property. Comparable number 2 also shows wet, which sold for $169,900, and we currently have it assessed at $114,000. Comparable 2 also shows some wetness on the property, sold for $123,000. Comparable number 3 shows many instances of water flood on that property. It sold for $800,000. Comparable number 4 shows some wetness or water on the property, sold for $285,000. For those reasons, that's why I peeled back the local board decision. Well, I didn't peel back the local board decision. The appellant appealed back the local board decision, but I would like the commission to take into consideration the information provided for you today. I will stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Carla. Is Dennis here? Dennis, your turn to make your appeal to the commission. Would you state your name and address for the record, please?
Dennis Wilkin. I live at 335 Quartzsite Avenue, T, South Dakota. I guess I wasn't able, and I had a realtor look too, wasn't able to find any comparables with floodplains in them. The ones that you showed, I guess my question would be, do they have actual floodplains or were they just water spots? And I guess I don't know what the comparable acreages are with what, for example, with my property, the 3 point whatever acres, when I had it measured with the floodplain, it left less than actually 1 acre of workable, buildable property, less than 1 acre. Because the other bigger area that is out of the floodplain is not accessible because it's on the other side of the floodplain. The floodplain takes up more area than there is not. Previously, my property sold for $120,000 to the previous owner, who then I purchased it from at an auction for $80,000. So the property value was going down because he had trouble also trying to get permitting to build what he wanted to build there.
Sir, you bought it for $80,000, but
Yes.
what do you want it to be valued at today?
Well, I wrote in there 60,000, but I was going down a little bit. They're trying to value it at right now, like, what is it, 138,000? It was valued just 2 years ago at 40,000. So it's gone up over 182% in 2 years.
Yeah. Did you know it was in the floodplain when you bought it?
Not exactly. It was at an auction.
Okay.
So, but I thought maybe there was probably a reason. I knew that the creek was going through there. There was a reason that I was getting it for a little lower price than I thought. But then when I went and I haven't made a full process of trying to build on there yet. I'm not quite ready to, but I did check into permitting, looked with planning and zoning over here. And the guys up here in planning and zoning told me that there would be quite a few things that they would be looking for, restrictions that they would put on me for building on that. Plus, my bank has also told me that since I can't get it subdivided outside that floodplain, it's going to be a lot harder and more expensive to get a loan for it.
Yeah. Carla, the question of the comps that you brought up, are those in floodplains?
So the comp 1, half of the property, yes, is in a floodplain.
Okay.
Comp
What
1.
Okay.
Comp 2 is considered just wet.
Okay,
Comp 3, all of it is in a floodplain.
okay.
2 was in the floodplain too.
And then Comp 4.
But then I guess my question would be, well, what, if it's all in a floodplain, they can't build there then, according to what I'm told. So,
I don't do zoning or
How many-
floodplain administering.
well, I'm just trying to actually compare it, you know?
I think you can build. The issue is whether it's gonna
I
get
can,
insured and
it's
whether
gonna
you
be-
can get a loan for it. That's
Yeah.
the real issue. Yeah.
So I guess it was assessed, I thought a little higher last year, but I didn't argue it at around like 90-some thousand, and I would accept that. Is what I would be looking for, no more than that.
Are there more questions for Dennis on his property?
If there's not, I'm ready to make a motion, Mr. Chairman.
All right,
My motion would be to value the land at 100,000.
motion has been made. Do we have a second? We have a second. Motion has been made by Commissioner Aaron's to set the land price at $100,000. Second by Commissioner Landine. Hearing no further discussion, will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, sir.
We are now on item number 9, agenda item number 9, Darrell Crawford. Carla?
Yes. Our next appeal is parcel number 100.49.21.I018. It's a property located at 27044 Split Creek Court. It's owned by Darrell and Deborah Crawford. It's a single-family home built in 2003. It has 2,319 square feet, a full basement with 1,720 square feet of living quarters with a walkout. It does have 3 full baths and 1 half bath. It has a 1,172 attached garage. The assessment went out at $675,605. The appeal was heard at the local level. The local board made no change, then which the appellant appealed back the local board's decision to county to be heard for consideration. We do show 5 comparables that are, I believe, are good comparables. They're current recent sales within the same neighborhood. There are no sales in the current neighborhood that are under the $500,000 mark that the appellant is requesting. Currently, we have the subject property being valued at $291 per square foot. The cost comparison is showing a range between $270 and $353 per square foot. The market is indicating a market range between $299 and $411 per square foot. So the subject property is well within the cost and the under the market approach. Can see where the subject property is located in the northwestern corner of the map, and where the comparable properties are located in red. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Carla.
You're welcome.
Is Dennis here? Dennis Wilkin? Come on up, sir. If this is your property,
This is my property.
please state your name and address for the record, sir.
Darrell Crawford, 27044 Split Creek Court, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I submit to you that I think the Board of Equalization is neither fair nor equitable in this situation, and I'll explain why. You obviously have my information here already. So I'm asking you, what's the first thing you look for when you're gonna do a comparable? what's the first thing you should be looking at? When you're gonna compare, you know what kind of house I live in?
Yeah.
It's a ranch. Okay, what are you gonna compare a ranch with? Do you compare it with another ranch? Okay. Now the comparables you got up here, I'm not seeing them on there. Comparables you got up here are in Lincoln Lakes. Okay, that's a different development than where I'm at.
These
Okay.
are the comparables that the commission are seeing.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, here.
I don't know how to work that. Anyway, these comparables aren't ranches. So I'm asking, why are you comparing a split foyer to a ranch in the first place? No realtor worth his salt would ever compare a ranch with a split foyer or anything else. It's just not done. So, and another thing over there, you have, when you're looking at other comparables, you have to consider the areas. Now, the area in question here is a nicer area. What, the amenities they have, they got paved roads, and they've got a pond nearby. What do I have? I have a gravel road in front of my house. If I could show it, I've got a gravel road in front of my house and a creek behind it. So it's not a very good comparison, if you ask me, for number one and number two. They're both in the same area, and they're both split foyers. So when you're looking at comparables, you should be comparing apples to apples here, if you ask me. Now, what makes these areas more desirable? Well, the fact is they got paved roads, and they got a nice little pond.
I'm just gonna show you where our comparables are located.
Okay.
Right here in red. This is you in blue.
I think you're looking at the comparables that were given to you before local boards, maybe, and those comparables have changed. I think they've gotten.
Since I met with the local?
Yeah, I think they're more to your liking now.
Where are they?
These are the comparables in red. They're right in your,
Well, if I'm looking right, those are in the Twin Creek. Okay, that would be number 3 and number 4. That's Twin Creek. Okay, Twin Creek is the same thing. What have you got there? You've got a nicer area, you've got paved roads, and what else? Oh, you've got a golf course nearby. What do I have? I have gravel roads. If you want to consider, I got gopher holes in my yard, maybe that's my golf course. You know, I don't have a golf course. I don't have paved roads. So why are you using these areas, which are nicer, to compare my house with? I'm a little offended at that.
what would you like us to use?
How about using the homes that are in my area, the Mystic Ridge area? There's 12 homes in that area, which are ranches. Some are not. You know, there are other, there's 2 stories and whatnot.
Sir,
but
have
there
any
are-
of those homes in your area had recent sales?
Probably not.
Okay, you don't have any comparables that you think we should have used, do you?
I have them with me.
They weren't part of your appeal packet?
Well, no, but I printed them out.
And were the sales recent in those?
No, they're not, they have not been sold.
Okay.
But
thank
they are
you.
equivalent to my house because they're in the same area. They have the same gravel road, they have the same ditch, and the houses are very similar, and the lots are very similar. But why don't you use those?
Our house has not been sold either.
Our house has not been sold, so why am I getting jumped every year? Last year, you people tried to just jump my valuation by 46%. 46!
Sir, what school district do you live in?
Canton.
Canton School District? Have you checked out what their excess value and how much they went up? Before you jump all over the counties, just remember that your biggest giant in the room is your school district. Just remember that.
Okay,
You
how
know,
many
when
schools
when
have you
you're
built?
here, I can understand, but your house, sir, you have a beautiful home. You chose to live there. You chose to live on a gravel road. You make those decisions.
Right.
Because someone else lives where they have an oil road, or they have a pond, or they have a golf course. That's their decision. You made that. So when we come out and look at your property, we're trying to do the best we can based on the square footage, based on the value of your house, how it was built, when it was built, so many different things. We didn't make all this stuff up. I mean, we got guidelines to follow. I can understand your frustration.
We
I-
feel our house should be taxed according to the other houses.
The other houses in my area. Yes, not $1 million houses over by the golf course.
You know, I
That's
have
a little
house
bit
there.
outrageous.
I'm not empathetic to you, but I've lived the same life you do. My house went up over $100,000 in evaluation in 1 year. I understand, but I understand also the way the market works. And we live by the market situation, and when people come out and they pay, if you put your house on the market, do you think you would sell it for $500,000?
I don't know.
No.
I've never tried yet.
Would you sell it for $500,000?
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah.
You would? Don't say that too loud, ma'am, because there will be somebody knocking on your door tomorrow.
Let me ask you this.
You can't build your house for
I'm willing to get rid of that
$500,000.
terrible road.
Mr. Chairman,
Anything else?
Mr. Chairman.
How many,
Yes,
Yes, sir. Just, I was taking a quick look here. It looks like, and thank you for being here, appreciate the comments. Looks like one house right next to you is worth $667. And there's another one just, I think, a couple to the south of you, on your street, that's worth $910,000. So.
is that a ranch?
Hold on. Hold on. I hear what you're saying about apples to apples, but I'm just going off the houses on your street.
Show them
Okay.
the ones that are similar to
So,
ours.
I'm done.
so here's what I'm saying. Here's my rationale for the motion I'm about to make. You have homes in your neighborhood that are all the way from 667 to 910, okay? That puts you in about the middle. Now, unless you've got some kind of, and I'm willing to hear it very quickly, if you've got some kind of structural deficiency, water in the basement, roof is 25 years old, siding has fallen off, if you've got some of that going on, I'm willing to modulate down. But if not, it does look like the homes in your neighborhood
No, wait a
are
minute.
keeping their value.
No, wait a minute.
Take control.
Hey, sir, the time is up. We
Okay.
have 10 minutes
but
in.
You're looking
We
at
need to make-
bigger homes
Sir,
with more
sir.
land.
Sir, we are going, 10 minutes per person. Commissioners, we
Yeah.
need to make a motion
I've got
on
a
this
motion.
situation.
I got a motion, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Value the land at $114,750. Value the house at $560,855 for a total assessed value $675,605.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Commissioner Aaron's, a second by Commissioner Landine. As indicated, land 114,750, house at $560,855 for a grand total of $675,605. Auditor, please call the roll.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, motion carries. We are now on item number 10. Thank you for coming, sir. I know you were not pleased with us, but
Yeah,
rules are
I can
rules.
always sell.
We will be.
We now on item number 10, Steve and Kathy Becker.
Here's siren. Do you know why?
Our next appeal is parcel 100.50.28.D100. It's located at 27168 472nd Avenue. It's owned by Steve and Kathy Becker. It's a single-family home, 1.5 story, built in 1963. It has approximately 1,896 square feet, has 3 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. and it does have a attached and detached garage. The assessed value for 24 went out at $505,270. It was heard on the local level. The local board lowered the valuation down to $450,000. The Director of Equalization appealed back the local board's decision, felt like the property was equally assessed to similar properties and not over market value. We do show 5 comparables for the county board for consideration. These comparables are scattered and not in the general area of the subject property, but felt they were relevant for the information to provide for the board to consider. They are 1,900 homes. We do have one home that was built in 2000. That's comp number 4. Currently, we have an assessed value, and this is overall total value. It's in the orange and yellow ribbon. It shows a assessed value of $266 per square foot. Our comparables have the range between $218 and $329 per square foot. And the market is indicating a market range between $243 and $379 per square foot. So the subject property is well within the cost and the comparable approaches to value. On the map, and I apologize for the size because we did have to go out farther to find comparable properties for this particular property for the subject. The subject property is just in the central northern part of the map, and the comps are just, they're scattered. The closest comparable to the subject is comp 4, which is the older home. I'd say the most comparable to the subject property would probably be comp 1, which is the farthest away, but for actual size and year built and the size of the lot alone, that was the most comparable that I felt. I will stand by for any questions.
Thank you, Carla. Steve or Kathy, will you want to come forward, state your name and your address for the record, please?
Good evening. I'd like to thank the local board for hearing our appeal. My name is Steve Becker and my wife Kathy. We're a third generation property owner of this property. We bought it from my wife back in 2010. It was built in 1963, and since it was built in 63, there's been very little improvements to this house. And the buildings were built, the outbuildings were built in the 30s and 40s. 2 of them have been torn down, so these pictures that are up here, 2 of these buildings aren't there anymore. The wind got one of them, and I recently tore the other one down. It's the same original casework in the house that's never been improved. Same original flooring. We have only one bathroom. It's an unfinished basement. We have the original kitchen cabinets, original bathroom vanity and cabinets. We don't have any granite countertops. It's all laminated countertops. We have a small double garage. It's no big triple garage or anything fancy. Our outbuildings are in kind of bad shape. They need to be torn down. We can't afford to fix them up, so the only other thing is to tear them down. You did say that these are comparables. We have comparables. I kind of went through the comparable number 5 to ours. Those 2 come closest together, I feel. What the pictures doesn't show, we got about an acre and a half of wetlands in our property. A creek runs through it, and it's just undevelopable. There's nothing we can do with it. Like they stated here in the beginning, the local board told us, or suggested 450,000 was a fair value, and I feel that's a fair value too, and we don't have no central air in our house, and, you know, it's just, I just feel the 505 is too high.
Sir, you all are across the road from the golf course, right?
Correct.
And do you own just the sliver of acreage there, or do you own the farmland
We
around
just
it?
we just own the acreage.
So you're on an island there.
Correct.
So you're not going to be, you obviously don't own it, so you've got no development prospect.
I'm in the trust. It's in a trust.
The land is.
So you do have an ownership interest
Yes.
in the surrounding land?
Yes.
Okay. Do you still disagree with what the local board said the value was?
No, we
We agreed with that. They agreed, they lowered it to 450,000. We agree with that. But we feel the 505,000's too high for what we have there in our house. It's an old house. The inside, we have not done any remodeling to speak of. One bathroom, unfinished basement, 3 bedrooms. And like I say, if you compare it with number 5, that there is very comparable. They've got 11 outbuildings, we got 6. Their house is bigger square footage. Like I said, we're a 3rd generation property owner. We bought it from my wife's mother, and we dearly want to stay at the place, but boy, taxes are just eating us up.
Carly, you took the condition of all the outbuildings into consideration in your valuation, correct?
I was gonna ask the appellant if he could identify the buildings that are down.
This is gone, and this is gone.
Okay. Let me see if we can get that.
Yeah, and once I hear that, I've got a motion to make here, and I'll
too.
explain it.
Okay.
I mean, I'll be very palms up with y'all. I think the land is very strong. I think the buildings and your house, we've got to talk about.
Yeah.
And not that it factors in, but I will let you know, since you do have an ownership interest in that property surrounding you, it's not going to affect my comments, but what I will say is you've got an economic interest in all that land around you. My guess is at some point in time, y'all are going to develop that if you get the right price.
How would you adjust the outbuildings, if at all?
We would remove them to 0.
So how would that affect your values?
Well, they
Greatly.
valued the
Just-
assessed value of the buildings is 21,230.
Wasn't there more than one building, though? That's part of that?
There's 2 buildings that are down. The valuation would be minimal, around 418 probably. But we'd have to figure out the exact numbers here, which is the type
$2,476.
You would take off, or you would reduce value too?
Is the value.
Well,
we would
take it off
Take it off.
buildings are not.
You would take 2,476 off?
Correct. And that would go off, apologize for not having my speaker on. That would go off the valuation, the 21,230. So we would
Okay.
reduce it by 2,486.
What, can you do
Okay.
the math for me? What is that then?
About 18 something.
I was gonna say,
18,760.
18,760.
Yep.
Well, unless the other commissioners have a motion, I got a motion.
I've got one in my head as well, but go ahead with yours.
Go ahead, and we'll see how well we.
Let's show our cards. I'm gonna make a motion to value the land at $252,800, value the house at $203,770, and value the other buildings. I would just drop that down to 15,000 level. I don't know what that adds up to, but that's my motion.
Where were you at on the house? You were at the 203?
203.
I went with the local board, 203,770. I think the land has got strong value. I think the house is an
Okay, but
issue.
you know, how can you how can you base your evaluation on speculation though?
It's based on the assessor's value,
Yeah,
not my
but the land,
speculation.
it hasn't sold, it's just sitting there, we're just getting
471.
renter's fee.
I agree
Sir,
with
we're
you,
at-
sir. There's a lot of land that hasn't sold, but we have to put a value on it somehow.
We are at our 10-minute limit. I'm going to close this thing. Commissioner Aaron's, you have 252.8 for land, 203,770 for the house, 15 for the outbuildings, for a grand total of 448,000.
That's my motion.
Do we have a second on that?
Are you sure you added that up right?
I don't know. I think so.
471,
15,
570.
excuse me. 15, carry the 1, 8. I may have made an error. 8, 10, 11. Carry the 1. That would be 451,000.
471, 570.
$471.
Yep.
Do we have a second on that? Hearing none?
No, just,
You're still thinking? Okay.
we're really close. We're kind of splitting hairs, so I'll go ahead and second it.
So, Sherry, what was the number? 4?
471, 570. So a reduction of
471.
33,000, or, yeah, 33,700.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion by Commissioner Aaron, second by Commissioner Landine for the land at 252.8, 203,770, and the outbuildings at 15,000. We can still discuss this.
The outbuildings were
Yeah,
18,760.
they were at 18. He
So,
dropped them.
what-
I know, and I dropped it down to-
Commissioner Aaron said is
He dropped them to-
252,800 for the land. The house
Yep.
is 203,770.
Yep,
And the outbuildings for 15,000.
1,000. Yep.
Yeah, I think there's probably some depredation to the
471.
outbuildings.
Commissioner, we're gonna discuss this for 1 minute. Is there any room for you to look at the land situation? I understand what you're saying about their interest in there, but I'm just questioning, you think that's a pretty valid argument? You're pretty comfortable with that?
Let me ask you, I'll answer it this way. How much more do you want to drop it down? Because what I would be inclined to do is either drop down outbuildings or the house, but not the land. That land's got solid value, especially when there's a unified economic interest there.
Well, I had the house down at 195,000 because of the condition of the house. It's old. They have not done any remodeling on this thing. They got the original kitchen. They got a one bathroom. I mean, if you want to bring that up to speed, that's going to cost a ton of money, but that's not our stake. But I would be more comfortable with $195,000 for the house.
No, and I understand that, Commissioner, respect it. I was just going off the fact that when I asked them if they agreed with the local board number,
Yeah.
they admitted that they did.
So,
What I'm trying to get at is it seems more like,
They were okay at 225 on the home, so,
yeah,
I mean,
I'll just call the question right now.
Commissioner Aaron's?
yes.
Commissioner Landine?
yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Reluctantly, yes, so that sets the base price at $471,570. Thank you, folks.
Well, thank you for hearing our appeal. Have a good evening.
Okay, we now have agenda item number 11, which is Baker Crossing LLC. And we have, are these all the same, Carla, or what are they going to be? Are they all?
It's all golf course property, but each property is somewhat different. Some of it would include a clubhouse, some of it is a parking lot, some of it is the actual golf course itself.
Some of it has more holes per acre than the other.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
Let's
up to
take
you
the
how
first
you
one.
wanna,
Let's take first one, 4030.
You gotta,
I'm here on behalf of Baker
Okay.
Crossing. Could I make a suggestion to try to make this easier for everyone?
That'd be great.
you wanna come up to the microphone?
We're willing to listen.
can we shrink this?
Just come up to the microphone so we can hear it on the recording.
It's 5 parcels, but it comprises the golf course. So it's the golf course itself, the holes, the clubhouse, the parking lots, some outbuildings. I don't know that it's gonna make sense, this is unique, so I don't know if it's gonna make sense for anybody to go parcel by parcel. My presentation to you is based on all 5 parcels combined, and I can explain why we broke down and proposed values for each of the 5, but it was equitably split over the 5 parcels based on the overall value of the course. So my suggestion would be, let's talk about it globally, and then if you have to break it down for the parcels for the value, great, but I don't think it's gonna make any sense to sit here and talk about sliver by sliver each parcel. Is that,
Meaning where the parking lot is.
Is that fair?
Completely understand, I just, for
I
auditing
would agree with
purposes.
that. What I would say though is at the end of the story, we come down and we do
Right.
parcel by parcel. value.
Exactly. At the end, break it down how you wish, because there is 5 parcels and there's 5 proposals, 5 recommendations from the assessor. But I don't know that going 10 minutes on each parcel is
So
gonna
we
make
got
sense to anybody.
we got till 8:20
Get
to figure this out.
And it's, hopefully it doesn't take that long, but it will take a while to break this out.
8:30, actually, I think.
I'll do my best.
8:30.
You've done so much homework on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Ethan speak on it. He has done a lot of research on this type of property, has actually been in contact with, the representative. So I'm gonna stand back and let.
Has there
Ethan-
been any talk of stipulations on these, or?
There's really no information to stipulate about. We don't have any current sales of a golf course. The most current good arm's length transaction of a golf course was Spring Creek Golf Course up here, and that was back from 2015. So I used that sale for sales analysis, but for assessment equity as well.
Is this bare land?
The golf course?
Are these lots built on, or are they currently empty lots?
They're the actual golf course.
Golf course.
Like,
This is the actual.
This is
golf
Baker
course.
Crossing
This is
Golf
the
Course on
course.
Louise
Baker
Avenue.
Golf course.
so we're including the clubhouse, the parking lot, the driving range.
Yes, and so when
9 holes.
when we're assessing a golf
18.
course, we're using the cost approach to value, and when you're doing the cost approach to value on a golf course, you look at how many holes there are. There is a improvement value to turn a bare lot into a golf course for the grading, for the bunkers, for the greens, the fairways. So there is a large cost up front to turn a property from bare land into a golf course, and that's taken into account in our cost manual. We're provided with a guide to grade the golf course, and we graded this a 4, which is a very average golf course. I believe I showed the grade guide here. We've graded both Spring Creek and Baker Crossing golf courses as grade 4s. You can see I put the information here that's relative to the grading. What's the par of the course? What's the slope rating? What are the bunkers like? Are there in-ground sprinklers on the fairways, just at the greens, at the whole course? What are the greens like? And as far as aesthetics, that's kind of a general statement too, but, landscaping and such.
What is your per acre number?
So when you're breaking it down per acre, that's highly subjective to the number of holes that are on each of these parcels. So I've given you every angle you want to look at, whether you want to look at the buildings, what the cost of the hole is for the improvement, the land per acre, the total value per hole.
What about, maybe you can streamline it for me in terms of my thinking. The whole property globally, what is it per acre?
Was there an average per acre on the whole thing?
4,321,703 divided by however many acres there are total. I don't have that in front of me.
4 million what, Ethan?
$4,321,703 divided by acres.
There's how many acres?
He's figuring it out.
Oh, okay. Excuse me.
97, it's 97 and a half on the first property.
.7 on the second.
0.7?
Point
Yep,
seven.
1.3 on the third.
Just 1 second. Plus 0.7 plus 1.3. 1.1.
Then 65.3.
65.3?
Okay, so I wasn't sure, but my number is right there. It's $26,053. I came out with $26,044 this time, so I'm not sure if my acres were off a little this time or last time, but I'm off
What
by
did
about
you-
$9 per acre.
What did you have? How many acres? I had
cleared it.
165.9.
I never had a total. I used, a formula where I just did the total 4.3 million and I added each of those in parentheses and divided. I never got a total.
How many acres did you have, Tiffany?
I had 165.9, so if I divide that out,
Yep. I got 164.8, but that's irrelevant. So you got cost per acre, Ethan, of $26,000 plus dollars.
2605.
26,053.
2605. I had 2650.
Yeah, and that's improved. That includes the clubhouse, the parking lot, the improvement to each of the 18 holes that are there.
So
I think that's everything. Oh, there's a couple of storage sheds for like club carts. And I mean, bare land sells around this area for $26,000 an acre, and I included bare land sales as well. And the way that
is there
we're.
some issue with, just tell me, because I'm trying to simplify this. Is there any problem with saying across these 5 parcels, the value of the land is $26.50?
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, an improved value of $26.50 an acre. That's how I would say it, but yes.
So if you had the 1.3 acres, it would have 26,000.
$50.
Yeah. 1.7.
The way our cost manual guides us to value these is to determine the fair market value of bare ag land and then add the improvements to that. And I have provided bare ag land sales here, ranging from $14,000 an acre to $43,000 an acre, and they're all very close to the subject property.
So does that seem a reasonable schedule? No. Okay.
So, I don't know if you.
And then for the comp, sorry, let me turn this on. For the comp that you used the sale, it would have been the transfer of the Spring Creek Golf Course.
Sale, it was
Sale.
marked a good sale.
It was marked as a good sale,
Yeah,
okay.
but it
And
is-
that was a sale from the golf course co-op to the Wildlife Foundation, right?
Right.
And how much did the Wildlife Foundation pay? I think I got your numbers up here. In 2015, they paid basically $16,000 an acre.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I'm sure the other commissioners are intimately familiar with the Spring Creek, what's going on with that, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would say it has an inferior clubhouse, but other than that, I think they are comparable.
Right.
They let, I think, hole 8 go, but
Can we?
what difference that has, I don't know.
Okay.
Can we do this, if it makes sense? Can we have our landowner, agent for the landowner, come up and give their presentation on the whole, and then we can ask Ethan questions
Yep.
from there?
Yep.
Good idea.
Would you come up, sir?
Thank you. My name is Brendan Riley, attorney at Davenport Evans, and I represent the landowner Baker Crossing. And, yeah, obviously this is unique. It's a unique parcel. There's a few things, we're kind of going all over the place here, but, Spring Creek and that comparable sale never came into play over this. It's the manual that Ethan mentioned that spits out these values, and what I was told and understand is that the area golf courses in 2022 are reassessed based on this manual and then kind of equalized over each other. Lincoln and Minnehaha County did the same thing. The assessor's stated reason, so we went to the local board. The local board did provide some relief. I feel sorry for those guys. Admittedly, they just sat there and right away, I think they punted. I don't know that anybody could come with some reason or wherewithal why they came up with the number they did, but they did provide a reduction in value. But they stated right away, you're probably going to go to the county with this. So the assessor appealed the local board decision, and the stated reason on the appeal is that the comp that was used by us, that Bender Commercial prepared, was not an arm's length transaction. I have some handouts, so bear with me here. I used paper.
Mr. When you say the comp, which one are you referring to?
I used the comp, and I'll get to that. We used Bender Commercial put together a comparable sales approach with a sale of Rocky Run Golf Course in Del Rapids. So we do have a sale that just occurred in December of 2023 in Minnehaha County, right in our backyard. So there is a sale, and if you bear with me, to get to that so we can kind of break this down piece by piece. So again, the stated reason was that comp that we used was not an arm's length transaction. So I actually dusted off Black's Law Dictionary of all things for the definition of arm's length transaction. I got two there. What's the definition? Arm's length transaction, just to read a definition, set of a transaction negotiated by unrelated parties, each acting in his or her own self-interest, the basis for a fair market value determination. In this case, this truly was, the Del Rapids sale was an arm's length transaction. The buyer was GL Management, Great Life. GL Management was the buyer. The seller was Spruce Glen Inc., a total unrelated party. So you don't have to take my word for it. Spruce Glen Inc. as an ownership group, as officers and directors, made a decision. The only connection between these two parties was that Great Life was leasing the course before it bought it, and that lease was coming up. So instead of renewing the lease, they negotiated a purchase. This negotiation took 12 to 18 months. They actually extended the lease to give it time to purchase the property. And they purchased the property for $1,250,000. And I'll get to that. Now again, back to arm's length. In my discussions with the assessor's office, they said it wasn't an arm's length transaction. We just showed there's two unrelated parties in the sale. They negotiated for 12 to 18 months. And another part of it was the assessor said, well, it wasn't on the open market. Well, this is not the type of property where you hire Hague Realtors and put a sign out and hope somebody drives by and buys it. So it wasn't listed for sale. But to try to help that out, we had Bender Commercial asked a favor, and I have this, of an local appraiser, Josh Luther. So Josh Luther, more trees, my apologies, but I don't want you to just take my word for it. I'm not using these for comparable sale purposes, but it does paint a picture of the story here. So if you look at that front page is just an email chain, where Reggie Kuipers at Bender Commercial asked Josh Luther, do you have any golf course comps that are 18 holes with a clubhouse, cart shed, basically what we're talking about here, in any sales in the last 5 years in South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, or Minnesota? So in 5 years, in a four-state radius, he has 5 sales, not including the Del Rapids one that just happened in December 2023. He has 5 sales. That's what they have in front of you. So I think this tells 2 stories. One, there are just not many sales of golf courses. 2, our proposed value is in line with these sales. If you throw out the 2 outliers, number 4 in your packet is a 27-hole private country club in Omaha with all the amenities, different than ours. The low outlier, number 2, is a 9-hole course that has a PGA rating of 34 or something. But if you look at the other 3, the PGA ratings are similar to ours. They're 18-hole courses. Heck, one of them, Crystal Lake, Minnesota, is 20 miles from Minneapolis. We got Del Rapids, 20 miles from Sioux Falls. So again, not submitting these that these are comps. We don't know, and they won't know things about them, but it shows that it's in line. It also shows that there's only been 5 sales in a 4-state radius in 5 years. So then when we get to the Del Rapids comp, the one that the assessor stated reason is it's not a arm's length transaction. I think we've gone over that. Here's the comp that we used at the local board. I say we used it, again, not to take my word for it.
Thank you.
We hired Bender Commercial, who's an expert, to put together. Well, again, the assessor will use a national model, value it on a per hole basis. Well, we have a sale right in our own backyard that we've proven to be arm's length. So the sale price, if you look at that comp, Rocky Run Golf Course was assessed, the assessed value is $1,617,000. Our assessed value is almost 3 times greater than that. Again, for similar 18-hole clubhouse, sheds, all the works. The sale price on Rocky Run is 22.7% lower than even its assessed value. And to help, you were talking about per acre, and the assessor's office was talking about how it's valued per hole. Well, we break that down. If you look at the comparable sale, it says sale price per acre of land, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th line down. That's actually the sale price per hole, 18 holes. So if you take the 1.25 million divided by 18, gets you to that 69,444. What we proposed as our valuation, based on this comp and based on Bender Commercial's research, was that the proposed value to fairly equate for the fact that this is located in Sioux Falls and not Del Rapids, Bender Commercial built in a 50% premium. So if you look at that, the per hole number of 69,444, Bender Commercial said, no, there should be a 50% premium because of the location of Baker Crossing. So the per hole value adjustment to subject property at the bottom of the left column is actually $104,166, putting that premium on there. So we come up with a total value of $1,875,000. Now, that seems like a drastic increase. I look at it, it looks like a drastic increase, but everything we have points to the fact that it's supported. So again, to recap, if you look at the assessor's appeal, every one of the documents says the reason they're appealing is because this is an arm's length transaction. I'd be happy to answer questions about that. but I feel like we've established the arm's length portion of it. Now we're talking about valuations. If you look at the comparable sale we used right in our own backyard, plus the 3 comparable sales that Josh Luther provided for sales in the 4-state area in the last 5 years, our number's right there in the mix. And the assessed value is way out of whack. So Commissioner Aaron's, when I believe you were starting the questions of, okay, this is per acre land. Golf courses, contrary to popular belief, the golf course land itself and the golf courses is not the profitable, most valuable land. You can tell all of that's around it. That gets parceled off and sold for homes and commercial development. Excuse me. So the high dollar land is developed around it. What's left is usually floodplain land, which this is the case here. Shows, 30 to 40 acres are in the floodplain plus lowland all around. So what we're talking about primarily here is valuing groomed grass at an amount that, even compared to a similar golf course 20 miles away, is 3 times greater assessed value.
Mr. Riley, could you address for us your thoughts on the Spring Creek as a comparable?
I can't.
Okay.
Bender Commercial didn't use it because of the age of it, the fact that it was sold, for different reasons. We don't know the negotiation, why it was sold for what it was sold essentially to the state. I think even the assessor's office didn't use that as a comparable sale. They relied on the.
I'm very familiar with the reasons
Right.
why that
So-
was sold and the way it was sold and the reason for the sale, but I don't want that to enter into this. Because I know things that probably can't get into the record. But what I wanted to hear is whether or not you all had an opinion on that from your point of view.
I don't.
Okay.
Nope, it didn't study it at all.
Okay.
Do you know why all these other ones sold? The reason for them selling?
No, and that's why I said, I used that for 2 reasons. One, to show how few sales there are when we're talking about arm's length transactions and on the market or being part of an open market, that there's only 5, 3 of them comparable, but we have one that happened right in our backyard here
Is there-
in
is
December
there-
23.
Is there like a reason that we're just getting is there a reason there wasn't an actual certified appraisal done by the golf course?
Yeah, timing. It's hard to get an appraisal done in a week when you get your assessment and then have to appeal. So what we do is get a broker's opinion of value, which is an expert analysis that falls short of a full-blown appraisal, but it compares their expert opinion on a recent sale in our backyard.
I don't know why, but I can't get it out of my head that we've hired Bender to do something and we are paying for a certified appraisal because they couldn't give us one. And that was one of my kind of comments in my head is, aren't they experts? Why do we have to pay for a certified appraisal? But we are.
Commissioner Landine, just to bootstrap on that, don't we have to do the appraisal because the statute required us to for the surplusing of the property?
I
or
don't
something?
remember the
Yeah.
answer to that.
Yeah,
But
bank financing will require an appraisal. There's certain things you have to get an appraisal, but in this case, instead of me doing the research and you taking my word for it that, there was a sale.
Near it, we got 1 minute left according to our timeline here, which was set by our auditor, right?
No, we got till 8:30.
Oh, there, 8:30, we got 11 minutes left.
So, Mr. Riley, just so I understand where the boundary lines are, Assessor's Office, you all are at 2.2 million and change. Mr. Riley, you and your folks are at 1.8? Or am I reading? I'm looking at the Bender form, but then I'm looking at the form you all filled out and submitted to the county. And I just want to know, what do you think the property should be valued at?
$1,875,000.
Okay, so you all are at 1.8, and the county here is at 2.2.
Oh, the
I
county's
think we're
way higher
getting
than that.
total and individual parcel values mixed or intertwined.
Yeah, I'm just going off your own slide here that says
That's the
total
first
assessed
parcel
value.
only.
Just the first one.
Okay,
The total assessed value for county is $4,321,703.
Okay.
That, I'm reading off of the list. I haven't done the calculation, but I'm gonna
And
say
thank-
he's probably.
That's for the
Yeah.
5 parcels total.
yeah, thank you for clarifying, Carla. So the county is at 4.3.
Two, yeah.
You all are at 1.8 for all the parcels. We're talking apples to apples now.
Correct.
Okay.
I understand that the agent gave a definition of arm's length transaction, but fair market value is actually defined in South Dakota Codified Law 106-104. And it specifically states that the property, the price and money that property will bring in a competitive and open market under all conditions requisite to a fair sale between a willing buyer and a willing seller, each acting prudently and with full knowledge of the relevant facts, and assuming that the price is not affected by any undue stimuli. The Del Rapids sale, this is the official certificate of real estate value, a copy of it from the Department of Equalization office in Minnehaha County, and it states it was not an open market sale.
Can I interject something?
Sure.
I've been in these hearings since 9 o'clock this morning. This is a really bad one to have as the last thing today for me. We've just been given a bunch of information. There's no way I'm gonna sit here and process this and be able to make a decision in the next 8 minutes. This is not gonna happen.
I agree. You got a motion, Commissioner Landine?
That's a motion to move this to the 23rd, if you're available. I just need some time to process this, and I've been sitting in this chair for a long time today, as has Commissioner Schmidt, and I know you were here earlier this morning, but
I'm gonna second that, because I was thinking the exact same thing, as
Amen.
I smell something convoluted about this, and I would like the parties to either get together and talk, but I definitely don't want a decision made tonight.
Well,
We
we're
can
so-
call the equalization
we're so
offices
far
in
apart
each
with
of
so many
these
fragments.
states and determine if they're a fair market sale as well.
Commissioner
So,
Landine,
thank
you made a motion to move this to the 23rd.
I have.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Auditor, please call the roll.
Commissioner Aaron?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes. And sir, please understand, when you start looking at the difference between the two, the different fragments we've got, everything else, as Commissioner Landine says, it's getting foggy here, because we've been banging away, so.
I understand.
think we'll be able to give enough time and come up with a fair and equitable situation, rather than trying to come up with something this evening. So,
Can I just clarify, if we're moving it to the 23rd, is that coming back for here? It's not like the legislature where you're kicking it to the last day to avoid it? Are we moving it to another hearing, or are we trying, like?
We're continuing this hearing.
we're continuing.
Up to the 23rd. We need to talk, because the three of us have to be the ones to hear it again. Let's all get together and decide what date is gonna work for all of us, right? Is that?
I mean, we have to do it by the end of the month.
No,
The
agreed.
30th, it has, we
They
close.
have to, so you have until the 30th to get this taken
Okay.
care of.
Because we are back here on the evening of the 23rd, because we have our joint Lincoln County City Council meeting that night as well, so we will be here that night.
You're gonna be here a long day that day too.
Yeah, we'll be aren't we doing these right after our commission meeting, or, yeah, in the morning?
Are we?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay, got it, I see it. Yeah, that works. Works for me.
And actually, there will be arguably two other commissioners sitting here,
I won't be here until the afternoon.
but
I'll be here for an hour in the morning, and then that's when we have our
a DOT meeting with,
Yeah, I just need more time to look at this.
Okay.
So
And
I'd be punting if I did anything tonight.
that's 7 o'clock at night on the 23rd. I have a hearing at 1:30 that day.
got a 10:30.
Well, we might have to set up a special meeting. It doesn't sound like the 23rd is gonna work.
I can only do the morning. I'm out at 1:30.
Well, but I don't know how long your guys' commission meeting is gonna last.
But we can do it on the 30th, right?
We can move them all to the 30th.
Let's move it to the 30th.
Yes. So everything that we were gonna put on the 23rd.
We have until the 30th.
I know, this is just such an outlier. I would love to see you guys get together and find some compromise on this.
And I'd be happy to, because I even have in my notes that I thought that they might have checked the wrong box on the certificate of real estate value. I mean, I've been doing real estate law for 25 years, my paralegal longer than I have, and we still have questions when it comes to filling out the certificate of real estate value. There's a chance the parties just checked the wrong box, but I don't know that we want to base the whole value of this on them
this is
checking a box on their certificate of real estate value. But I'll be available whenever you are. I'd be happy to discuss this further, and if we could come up with a stipulated value outside of this, great. If we can't, I look forward to seeing you whenever it works.
Sounds good to me. Do we need to vote on that? We don't need to vote. We've just been moving them to,
We're just moving this to the,
We just voted on the 23rd. Do we need to
do you want to read?
I'm in a trial on the 30th, so, but if we want to move it to then, that's fine, and then figure something out in the meantime.
Move it to the
I'm in
23rd.
trial tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Oh, good for you.
I'm coming back. Okay, let's leave it 23rd.
The
and
date to
see
be
if-
determined.
Okay.
Determined. Okay,
But we're gonna put the 23rd in the minutes?
yes,
Yep.
thank you. Brendan, drive careful on the way home.
Yeah.
Carla, we now have number 16. We have Jacob and Carrie Peterings. Are they planning to show?
I believe they're on the
Phone in.
Phone in. Oh, boy.
Okay, I gotta get through a few slides here and then we'll get started.
Hello?
Is this Jacob?
Yeah, this is Jacob Peter Hines.
Jacob, one
Good evening.
moment, please. We're going to hear from our Director of Equalization, and then you will be able to make your appeal.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay?
Our next appeal is parcel number 100.50.29.D604. It's located at 47158 South Clubhouse Road. It's owned by Jacob and Carrie Perinas. It is a single-family home, two-story, built in 2005, has 4,940 square feet, a full basement with no finish in the basement. It has 3 standard bathrooms with 1 half bath. It also has an attached garage, 1,190 square feet. The assessed value went out at $934,190. This was appealed at the local level. The local board lowered the value to $850,000, at which point I believe the appellant appealed the local board's decision to be heard at county board. We do have some comparables for consideration. They are good comparables. They're current sales. They're somewhat scattered, but most are very close to the subject property. Currently, our subject property is valued at $189,000. Our cost comparables show a cost range between $203 and $328 a square foot. The market is indicating a market range between $225 and $379 per square foot. The assessors are recommending no change. The property is under cost and market value, so we're trying to uphold our valuation of $934,190. Can see where the subject property is located in comparison with the sales. Again, we do have a couple sales right in the general area of the subject property. The other properties that we show for comparison are in Sioux Falls city limits. With that, I will stand by for any questions.
Okay. Thank you, Carla. Jacob, it's your turn to present your information.
Just to touch base on some of the information there. I believe I was the one to appeal to the county at the next level. I'm not certain if your side has appealed as well, the decision of the local.
Okay, what should we know?
But just want to clarify that. Just to give some information, hard time hearing you guys there, but just a minute of information here. To repeat, yes, the home was built in 2005. It is 20 years old. We purchased the house in 2019 for a value of $482,000. It was a foreclosure, but I don't believe it's fair to automatically classify all foreclosures as a so-called great deal. The house was on the market for a full year. Everyone in the world had a chance to purchase the property. We eventually came in at the highest amount to set the market value. Truly believe the property's value is determined by the market, which was established with our price. The only improvements made to the home were $12,000 in new carpet. In 2020, our property was immediately assessed for $663,000. I'm assuming that comes in at a 90% actual rate there of $738,000, which would be $256,000 more than we paid at market value. In 2024, our property is assessed at $934,000. Actual value of that, based off the 90% rate, in which I understand properties usually are assessed at, would be well over $1 million. That's an increase of $600,000 in 4 years. We do have a big house. I understand your job is very difficult to determine actual value of all homes in Lincoln County, but it's tough to slap a value based solely off the square footage. If we were to put a home on the market, I truly feel that if we listed it for $700,000, I'd have a hard time believing it would actually sell in today's economic conditions. Interest rates of 7%, remodeling, construction costs through the roof, greedflation on top of inflation occurring in every corner of the industry. A home buyer would rather purchase a brand new home at $900,000 than to pay $700,000 for a house and stick another $200,000 to bring it up to date. Just a few more bits here, and I'll wrap this up. In 2019, our taxes based off of what we purchased the home should have roughly been about $7,000. In 2024, our taxes were assessed for $14,000. It's an increase of $600 a month since we purchased the home, which is roughly the distance of our last mortgage payment at our previous home. Other notes on the property have been listed in the submitted appeals. The house has 66 original windows, with majority failing. Original HVAC systems, 20 years old. Original septic system. Over 70% of the homeowners in our neighborhood have had to replace their septic systems due to ground conditions. We do have a failing 8x10 walkway in our front door. Back in 2021, we were quoted $10,000 for repair on an 8x10 walkway. Keep in mind, that was 2021 prices. That needs replacement. Severely cracked 15x20 cement patio in the back needs replacement. We have a 25 by 30 paver patio in the back, heaving in multiple areas. And the house is in desperate need of a full exterior paint. And just kind of touch on the area here. We are right next to the driving range. So the spring, summer, fall, kids, it's tough to have them play outside. Your car windows have been broken. We've lost 4 windows to our house due to errant driving range golf balls. Our house gets hit on average roughly, let's say 400 times during the spring, summer, and fall. So if that could be factored into desired living location. In conclusion, being as honest as possible about our home's value, and that's the reason for the appeal. I feel I am being overtaxed and losing much needed money that is obviously needed elsewhere, but definitely glad to pay my fair share. And just something to add here, if the county is by chance looking for an investment, I will gladly sell it to the county at the newly adjusted assessed price of $850,000. Said 90% of $945, and just kind of be honest here, I really don't think it's worth that, but definitely willing to offer that. So that's just a few bits of information. Any questions you'd have for me?
Sir, got a question for you. Joel Aaron's here. When you bought it for $482,000 in 2019, was that at a sheriff's sale or was that through broker, dealer, realtor?
Yep, broker, realtor, dealer. Nope, not an auction. So that was, I believe, on the market for a full year, I want to say. So, many people had a chance to go through the property, determine if it, what value it is to them. No offers were made. A few people looked at it. And then ultimately we came in with obviously the highest price there to set the market value.
Understood. And then just one last question. You mentioned a number of structural deficiencies. How much do you think you would spend on it to get it ready for sale on the open market?
Honestly, we wouldn't probably put anything into the house. At today's prices, I couldn't even imagine, an 8x10 walkway costs $10,000 to replace in 2021. I'm not sure we would want to dump the money in, thinking we're going to get more dollar value out of it. I'm assuming anybody in that price range is going to want the house in their manner and their needs, to their liking. So I kind of feel like that would be a waste of money to put that in on our end to increase the sale price, if that makes sense.
Thank you. Appreciate the honest answers.
Yep.
Any other questions that you would require from Jacob? If not, Jacob, thank you for your information. Commissioners, we've heard from our auditor, and we've heard from our assessor, and we've heard from the plaintiff here. So, do we have a proposal to offer?
I've got a motion to leave the land at $142,061. Put the home at $750,034 for a total of $892.95.
$892.99.
95.
What would it do if we put in below?
And a month. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
What's the total value on that?
Oh, wait. Is that the same
Carla,
one?
Did you do a,
Yeah, I'm wondering if,
did you
Is
do
that-
a change, assessor recommendation change?
Are we looking
on
at the right one?
17?
Maybe I'm not looking at the right one. Hold on. Did you do the 707, Carla?
No, that was the local
It's
board.
the local board.
Okay.
Doesn't look how the PT 17 is filled out.
So your proposal
Hold
was-
on. I want to look at the PT 17.
Yeah, I caught that too.
Is that, it's just not right?
The way I'm looking at it is, it was signed
That's what you recommend.
by the local clerk, and then someone wrote preview only down there. And somebody wrote in the assessor recommended value box, and I don't know who that is.
The local board value carried over to the assessor recommendation
okay.
value.
So those aren't your recommended?
Yes, I actually personally typed that in.
And it's a mistake?
That is a mistake. But that's just the recommendation. I mean, the assessor recommendation for the presentation today is 792, 129.
Okay, then I'm gonna stick with the motion that I originally made.
So it's 142,061 for the land, and the house at
750.
750.34.
750,034, and that's it, for a total of
892,095.
892,095.
095.
Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second?
One moment.
Am I able to ask a question at this time or not?
I have a second, yes.
Okay.
Got a motion and a
We have a
second.
motion and a second. Hearing no further discussion, auditor, please call the roll.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes. Did you get those sums, Jacob?
I'm sorry, I had a hard time hearing you.
Well, the land stays at 142,061. The house has been reduced to $750,034. The grand total is $892,095.
Okay, and then a question I had on that was, the local, lowered it to 850 in total. And then I was the one to appeal to the county. And now it's increased an additional $42,000.
It's an increase from the local board, but it's a
Local boards.
decrease from the county assessor.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay?
okay.
Thank you, Jacob.
That
Thanks for
sounds
your
good.
time.
Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
We now go to agenda item number 17. This is for Janice L. Trust.
This is a stipulation. It was a late stipulation. I believe that paperwork is in your packet. So it's parcel number 100.59.31.3032. The legal description is the south half, southwest quarter, excluding the west 1,082.65 feet, and also excluding lot H2 and H3 in section 31, township 100, range 50. The applicant met the criteria for agricultural classification, lowering the value from $429,900 to $98,240, and both parties are in agreement.
Move to approve stipulation, Mr.
Second.
Chairman.
Motion has been made to accept the adjustment, and second, motion by Commissioner Aaron, second by Commissioner Landine to accept the adjustment in the property value. Auditor, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes. Agenda item 18. John and Linda Rainey. Ranny. Are they on the phone?
No RSVP.
The appeal is, the parcel number is 099.51.08.A000.
So we're
So-
gonna wait till 8:50?
Okay, okay.
Sorry to cut you off, Carla.
Yeah, no,
That's
that's
okay.
fine. I need.
Hurry, take a break. Take a break.
You want to recess for 6 minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Motion for recess?
Move to recess.
Second. Call the roll, auditor, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, we are recessed.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
Carla?
Our next appeal is parcel number 099.51.08.A000. It's located at 27428 465th Avenue. It is owned by John and Linda Rainey. It is a single-family home, but I'm gonna condense this and shorten this appeal up. The primary purpose of the appeal was to be granted agricultural status. That was the primary appeal for this property. We have been in contact with the property owner on several occasions. They have yet to give us the documentation to qualify for them for agricultural status. We have gotten zero income from them. It's been multiple times requested, via email, via telephone call, and we are yet today to have the income verified by the property owners. Therefore, I am denying the request for agricultural classification
Okay.
and upholding our current assessment at $526,726.
I'll move to uphold the assessor's valuation.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to uphold the assessor's valuation. Hearing no more conversation, will the auditor call the roll, please?
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes. For the record, that motion was made by Commissioner Landine and second by Commissioner Aaron's. We now have number 19.
Our next appeal is parcel number 099.51.08.D100. It is legally described as Tract 1, Mersch Edition in the Northwest Quarter, Section 8, Township 99, Range 51. Again, this property owner is requesting agricultural classification, and we have yet to date to have any documents provided from the appellant with the income information for, that has been requested. Therefore, the assessor's recommendation is leave the land being classed as residential with a total valuation of $127,316.
Move to uphold assessor's recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Aaron, second by Commissioner Landine to uphold our assessor's present value as non-ag. Auditor, call the roll, please.
Commissioner Aaron's?
Yes.
Commissioner Landine? Yes. Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes. Motion carries. Motion to recess from
till
the-
tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Second.
Auditor, call the roll, please.
Yes.
Commissioner Landine? Yes. Commissioner Schmidt?
Yes, we are recessed till 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Thank you.